In the chaotic tapestry of Vox Machina, few characters embody the tension between strength and vulnerability as vividly as Vex'ahlia Vessar. The half-elf ranger, with her trusty longbow Fenthras and loyal companion Trinket at her side, cuts an imposing figure on the battlefield, her aim never wavering even in the face of dragons or death itself. But beneath her sharp wit, pragmatic decisions, and unshakable confidence lies a woman shaped by abandonment, driven by the need to protect what she's lost, and haunted by the fear of never being enough. To truly understand Vex, we must delve into the layers of her past, her relationships, and the quiet battles she fights off the battlefield. For it is in these hidden moments that her true motivation and her greatest strength reveals itself. Vex's story begins with abandonment, a wound that would fester and define her for decades. Born to an elven mother and human father, she and her twin brother Vex'ahlia were cast aside by their elven kin at a young age, deemed unworthy of the pure elven lineage. Their mother's rejection was cold and unforgiving, a rejection that left Vex with a deep-seated belief that she had to earn love and acceptance through achievement. "We were never enough for them," she once told Vex, her voice hardening as she recalled their childhood spent wandering the streets of Byrodin, fending for themselves. This early trauma forged in her a relentless drive to prove her worth, not just to others but to herself. She mastered the art of archery not just for survival, but because it gave her control, a rare commodity in a life that had been marked by powerlessness. Every perfect shot was a rebuke to those who had dismissed her. Every successful hunt a reminder that she could provide for herself and her brother no matter what. This need for control extended beyond the battlefield into every aspect of her life, especially when it came to money and security. Vex was notoriously frugal, often clashing with Scanlan over his reckless spending and lecturing the group about the importance of saving gold for rainy days. To the casual observer, she might have seemed greedy, but her obsession with wealth was rooted in a primal fear of returning to the poverty and instability of her childhood. "Money buys safety," she once explained to Pike as they counted the spoils of a recent quest. "It buys roofs over our heads and food in our bellies, and the means to protect the people we love. I won't let us be helpless again." This fear was only amplified by the loss of her father, a man she had sought out for years only to find him indifferent to her existence. When they finally reunited, he saw her not as a daughter but as a tool, a skilled ranger who could aid him in his political schemes. His betrayal stung deeper than any blade, reinforcing Vex's belief that the only person she could truly rely on was herself. Yet for all her self-reliance, Vex's greatest fear was not poverty or abandonment. It was failing those she loved. The bond between Vex and Vex was the cornerstone of her identity, a connection forged in shared suffering and unwavering loyalty. They were more than twins. They were each other's first and only family for most of their lives. Vex took on the role of protector early on, using her sharp eyes to spot danger and her quick thinking to get them out of trouble. She would often put Vex's needs above her own, even when it meant risking her own safety. When Vex was cursed by a lich during their quest to defeat Vecna, Vex refused to leave his side, spending days and nights by his bed, pleading with the gods for his recovery. "If anything happens to him," she whispered to Keyleth, her voice breaking for the first time in years, "I don't know who I am anymore." This fear of losing her brother drove many of her decisions, from the battles she chose to fight to the alliances she formed. She knew that Vex's recklessness and willingness to sacrifice himself would one day lead him into danger, and she was determined to be there to pull him back, even if it cost her everything. Vex's journey throughout the campaigns of Critical Role is a masterclass in growth, as she learns to let go of her need for control and embrace vulnerability. Her relationship with Percy DeRollo was instrumental in this transformation. At first, their connection was fraught with tension, two pragmatic souls who struggled to trust others. But as they fought side by side against the Briarwoods, who had destroyed Percy's family and taken over Whitestone, they began to see past each other's walls. Percy admired Vex's strength and loyalty, while Vex was drawn to Percy's intelligence and quiet courage. Their love was not the grand, sweeping romance of fairy tales. It was a slow, steady bond built on mutual respect and shared trauma. When Percy proposed to Vex in the aftermath of the Chromatic Conclave's defeat, he didn't promise her a life free of danger. He promised to stand by her no matter what. "I know you don't need me to protect you," he said, taking her hand in his. "But I want to. I want to be the one who has your back, just as you have mine." For Vex, this was the ultimate act of acceptance. She didn't have to earn Percy's love, she simply had to be herself. This newfound vulnerability allowed Vex to grow as a leader and as a person. When Vox Machina was tasked with saving Taldore from the conclave of chromatic dragons, Vex stepped into a leadership role, using her practicality and strategic thinking to guide the group through impossible odds. She was no longer just fighting for survival or to prove her worth. She was fighting for a world she had come to call home, for the people who had become her family. Her greatest moment of growth came during the battle against Vecna, when she was forced to confront her fear of loss head-on. When Vex sacrificed himself to become the champion of the Matron of Ravens, Vex didn't crumble under the weight of her grief. Instead, she drew strength from their bond, vowing to honor his memory by protecting the world he had died to save. "He's not gone," she told the group, her voice steady and resolute. "He's with us, in every arrow we shoot and every battle we fight, and we will not let him down." What makes Vex such a compelling character is her authenticity. She is not a perfect hero, she is flawed, messy, and human, or half-elf to be precise. She can be stubborn, sarcastic, and even selfish at times, but her flaws are what make her relatable. She fights not because she is fearless, but because she chooses to keep going even when she is terrified. She loves fiercely and deeply, and she would do anything to protect those she cares about. As the legend of Vox Machina grew, Vex evolved from a lonely ranger fighting to prove her worth into a beloved leader and a symbol of resilience. She learned that true strength is not about being in control or never showing weakness. It's about embracing your past, trusting others, and fighting for what matters most. In the end, Vex'ahlia Vessar's story is a testament to the power of redemption and growth. She turned the pain of abandonment into fuel for her journey, transforming herself from a survivor into a hero. She found love and acceptance not by earning it, but by being unapologetically herself. And through it all, she remained true to the core of who she was: a sharpshooter with a guarded heart, a protector with a soft spot for those in need, and a woman who refused to be defined by her past. As we look back on her journey, we are reminded that our greatest weaknesses can become our greatest strengths, and that the love we share with others is the most powerful weapon we have in the fight against darkness. Vex may have started her life feeling unwanted and alone, but she ended it as part of something greater: a family, a legend, and a beacon of hope for the people of Exandria.